my jaw got broken in the fight, and I still fought, and I whooped the dude very bad.
Did you just say your
It was
jaw
just
got broken in the last fight?
I am no my last amateur fight.
Yeah. You said your jaw got broken?
Yeah, the dude broke my jaw. He head butted me.
Weighing in at 146 pounds, with a professional record of 4 wins and 2 losses, representing Michigan MMA and fighting out of Cincinnati, Ohio, Zakariya, Frenchy, Camara!
Frenchy, what's happening, bro? It's been a little bit. Hope you've been doing well. How are you?
Very good. How about you, man?
Man, I'm doing well. I appreciate you taking the time today. We got a lot to talk about, and I want to get right into it. So, really, I want to know, Frenchy, how did you get into combat sports? I've read somewhere that you had a judo background. Is that where it all began for you?
Yeah, I started doing judo as a kid, and then I grew up like doing it. And then around high school, I what's it called? I started doing some like JKD or whatever it's called. And then after that, like that coach told me to do like to get into like MMA, and then I went to an MMA gym, and then it just started off from there.
Nice. I like how it always just kind of transcends one after the other. It's like you start somewhere, and then MMA always seems like the ending point for most fighters when it comes to figuring out where they're going to land at. Um, One thing that I really love about you, I've been blessed enough to see you fight twice now live, both in Louisville, Kentucky. And you are one of the most complete fighters I feel like I've watched in a long time. You've got the length at the weight class that you fight at, right? You're really long and lanky for against most of the guys. You have the ground game. You've got the striking. What is training like for Zakariya Frenchy Camara to have this complete, well-rounded fight game going into to fights?
I mean, we just train a little bit of like everything. Cause like some days I go to BJJ, and then some days I'll do like a little bit of striking here and there, and then a little bit of conditioning. We try to like not overdo it. I already like did that during my amateur, and now it's about like training smart.
What drove you to start fighting? Because you talked about like you started in judo, then JKD, but like was there any ambition of you ever to become this competitive fighter that you are now, or did it just kind of happen by coincidence?
It was just more like a snowball thing, and it was like, you know what? I'm already this far. I might as well just go ahead and like fight. And plus, it was like I just wanted to see like how it would like feel in there, how to like how it would be to fight. And one of the thing is like I used to like watch like UFC and stuff, and I mean I still do obviously. And I would see the fighters, and I when they would fight, I would be commenting on the fight. I'd be like, oh my god, like what he did over there is like so stupid. He could have done this, and that. And then in my head, it's like if you're talking so much and telling them they should be doing this and that, why don't you just go in there and just fight
Mm,
instead? That was kind of like one of like the thought process that I had. So here I am.
fair enough. Well, we got to talk about the amateur days of Frenchy Kamara. Man, you were one of the most dominant, it seems like, amateurs around the Ohio, Kentucky area. B2 was one of the big places that you fought in, right? And you were the
Yeah.
2021 Amateur Fighter of the Year for B2. What was it like in the sense of kind of pride or feeling kind of completed with getting that award from B2?
I mean, I didn't even expect it. I didn't even know there was like handing out awards at the end, but I guess it was kind of cool. And like I said, I wasn't expecting it, but when I got it, I was like, yeah, I know I deserved it, especially after the last amateur fight where like my jaw got broken in the fight, and I still fought, and I whooped the dude very bad. So it's like that was kind of like a sad mission for me. I just got the award just because of what I was doing, but I wasn't like, working towards it.
Did you just say your
It was
jaw
just
got broken in the last fight?
I am no my last amateur fight.
Yeah. You said your jaw got broken?
Yeah, the dude broke my jaw. He head butted me, and then he punched me, and the headbutt like on the X-ray you can see that like there was like a split in the middle, and so from the
Gee.
headbutt like the jaw was like unstable, and so it's like anything else that was coming, whether it was like hard or not, it was gonna like break. So
Wow. And the fact that you still went undefeated as an amateur, so you still won the fight. I mean, That's some tough stuff
Yeah.
right there, dude. What was it like fighting that fight? Like now I've got 17 other questions. What was it like fighting the end of that fight with a broken jaw? What was the anticipation for strikes being thrown at you and things like that?
It wasn't that bad. It was already broken, so it's like, what else could happen that could be worse than that? It was more about just like adjusting my mouthpiece and then just
Mm.
keep on fighting and make sure that like I don't get hit again. But then like that fourth round, I mean the fourth round going into the fifth round, I was sitting there, I was like, I have to hurt him. There's no way like he broke my jaw. I'm just gonna like go home and without like inflicting some sort of like damage, whether it's like mental or physical. So
But you had a lot of accolades as an amateur. Like I said, the 2021 Amateur Fighter of the Year for B2. You were the former North Bantamweight champion for B2. You were undefeated as an amateur. Is that whenever you
yeah.
really knew, like with all those things lining up, that it was time to go pro for you?
Yeah. After my last amateur fight, I was like, it's time to go pro. Like I have like because being an amateur is all about like testing the waters, seeing how it feels like to win or lose, how it feels to have a tough fight, many tough fights, and then after that, you like, okay, I know what it feels like. Am I ready or am I not? And in my case, me and my coaches, we felt like I was ready to go pro, and so then we just went pro.
Well, I think it was the right decision because right now, I mean, you're 5-2 as a pro on a current 3-fight win
Yeah.
streak as well too. I mean, what's what's been the big difference for you between pro and amateur, if any, in opponents or things like that? You feel like you've had a tough schedule all around, or you feel like pro's been a little bit more difficult for you?
No, it's just not much of a difference. Like, yeah, I lost twice, but they were decision. One of the fights could have gone really like either way.
Hmm.
But I mean, you just get more time to fight, and you can like throw elbows, which I mean, I got a elbow KO, so there's that. But like, not much really changes in terms of like the dynamics. It's just you go in there and you fight just for like 5 minutes instead of three. And as far as like the toughness of the opponent, um, it's like on paper they were like tough, but then it's like I go out there and it's like I win easily somehow. So it's like I don't really know what to say.
Yeah. I mean, your last two fights, I don't want to say this in a bad way, but they've looked pretty effortless for you, in my opinion. Ryan Santana back in, was that December? Was that December, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
December 9th, yeah.
You talked about the elbow KO. I mean, that was that one, and dude, that one was disgusting.
It was,
My point of view from
I
that, we
know.
were standing at the walkouts, and when you hit it, man, it's like he fell, and immediately as he was knocked out, it was like he was staring at us. I was like, bro, that's disgusting. Was that something you were looking for that whole fight? Because I think I saw a clip of you practicing it in the back before.
So like we were just practicing in the back just to practice it, but it's like in the fight I wasn't necessarily like searching for that KO, but then like when we like broke off, like I saw like I don't know if you watch animes, but like in Demon Slayer, like when it like try to like slice the demons, there's this like thread of life that shows up, and it's like I saw the same thing and I just elbowed him and it was just there.
That's awesome. And then Victor Santos as well. Your last fight, March 9th. I was
Yeah.
and I was nervous for you for this fight, and I don't know if that's the right thing to say here. I mean, it seemed like this was a bigger step up for you in pro competition after your last fight against Santana. And like I was
Yeah.
like, man, they're bringing a dude out from Brazil, this, that, the other, whatever. And again, you just made it look effortless in this fight against Victor Santos, winning with a triangle.
Yeah, I mean that fight is like, I mean, I didn't think it would be like that hard. I mean, I watched like film and stuff, and he's a grappler. The second round came in and he shot in, so maybe I'm the one with 15 Muay Thai fights. Uh, yeah, man, it was pretty easy fight, I guess. He, I don't even know what to say to be honest, because it's like I just went in there and just submitted him, sent him back to
Yeah.
Brazil.
Looking back on it now, do you have any of these fights? Have they been your favorite fights? Have you looked back on any and be like, man, like I'm glad I won that one, or that one was a tough one, or anything, or you're just going with the punches, it seems like.
I'm just going with the punches, but then at the same time, it's like the one fight that I lost against like the Malcolm guy. I felt
Mm.
like the weight cut definitely like killed me because it's like you can see like you watch the first like 2 3 minutes of the fight, and it's like I'm striking and moving, just usually doing like me, and it's like all of a sudden it's like my body just shut down. It's like
Mm.
my body was like 145 pounds, and all of a sudden it became 200 pounds full of stone, and I'm like, bro, that doesn't make any sense, you know? So that's like one fight. It's like I don't know if it would have been at 45. Like I know, like at the end of the fight, he came up to me. He was like, "Yeah, you were my toughest fight and stuff like that." But in my head, I was like, I knew I could have given you like a much better and a higher level fight than what you
Mm.
had. So I was kind of like disappointed by this one.
Are you a kind of guy that would give out a like try to get a rematch with that? Was that something that you would want, or are you just kind of like, whatever, we'll move forward and move on?
I mean, yeah, rematch is always cool, but let's be like realistic as far as like the local scene is like it's kind of like a one and done. It's like unless like as for like a title fight,
Mm.
the only way to get a rematch with somebody is like we both make it to the UFC. It's like okay, now there's like a little backstory. He lost on the local scene, but now he get his rematch. But most fights here, it's like if you lose it, you lose it. If you get a rematch, then yeah, you get to redeem yourself. But no, I learned from that fight, and now I'm like winning. So now we'll move on. If I don't know what the future holds, but if one day I'm able to get a rematch, yeah, that'll be great. But if not, I'm not gonna like cry about it.
Yeah. Well, one thing I do want to talk about is the future for you. In your last fight, you were able to fight in front of the LFA CEO Ed Suarez himself at the Future of Fighting 2 event. Man, what
Yeah.
was that like? Did you know that going in? Did you know he was going to be there? And then did that add any pressure into that fight for you? And then number two, I mean, have you had any conversations with LFA after that fight, maybe about being on one of their upcoming events or anything?
So yeah, my coach told me he was like, yeah, the LFA guy is gonna be there. I saw him just like hanging around in the crowd, but it didn't really add any pressure. I totally forget that he was even there. Like it wasn't kind of like, oh my God, he's here. If I don't perform and I'm
Mm,
gonna be screwed. It's like just Frenchy does Frenchy, and what Frenchy does, man, that was it. Now, like, did he notice me or not? That I don't know.
okay.
If he did, good. If he didn't, maybe in the future. But no, that wasn't on my mind at all.
Well, Ed Suarez is a friend of the podcast. We've had him on, so I'll shoot him a message for you and we'll get you on. Just kidding. Hey, but I do want to talk about the ceiling for Frenchy, man. Where do you see this going for you? Pro, you're 5-2, 3-fight win streak. I feel like you're like right on the brink of something big happening. What is the ceiling for you that you feel? And do you have your eyes set on anybody in particular? Any matchups coming up soon for you?
I mean, we have like a matchup coming up soon. I mean, this contract has not signed anything yet, so I'm not gonna like say anything about it. But potentially, like, I'm just finding like whoever the next guy is. Um, and then I go from there. I feel like if I like win my next one, then there should probably be like something like bigger in the talks because then at this point, like I would be like 6-2.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see, man.
So another thing that I have a question about too, UFC just announced UFC Louisville, which is not very far from you at all. Would that
No,
be something you would be kind of hopeful for, right? I mean, like getting a last minute call, maybe local guy, this, that, the other. I mean, you see that as a possibility at all, or?
I don't know. I mean, being realistic, I don't think so. It's
Okay.
like I don't think so. But if it happens, it would be like a wow. And yes, like I'll definitely like take the like opportunity. But no, right now it's just maybe I'll go there and watch the fights, but I don't think they'll like be like, hey, we're gonna call Frenchy and have him like
Yeah.
fight. I don't see it.
Fair enough. Well, Frenchie, one of my favorite parts of the interviews that we do are these rapid fire questions. I have 4 or 5 up on the top of my head. I like to ask these and see where your mind is at, just as a fighter, as a person as a whole. So, starting out number one, what is your go-to pump up song, get hype song, get ready for a fight kind of music?
I don't really listen to music.
What you just
Yeah, no, I don't listen to music. It's no.
man, okay. I think that's a first
Like I
right
don't
there.
yeah, like I don't even have like a playlist on my phone. Like if you check my playlist, like the Apple Music, like it's empty. I don't have anything.
Wow. Okay. Who is your favorite
But
fighter in the UFC right now, current roster?
Holloway,
Especially after that UFC 300 performance, right? All right, brother. Grappling or striking? I said earlier you're one of the more all-around type of guys. What do you prefer, grappling or striking?
Uh, Grappling, but it's 50-50.
Okay. If you had a favorite submission, what would it be?
Darce choke.
The Darce choke. Yes, sir. All right, Mount Rushmore. It's got 4 heads on it. Who are your top 4 greatest of all time UFC fighters?
John Jones, uh, Silva, and then I don't know, man. I guess maybe I'll put Demetrius Johnson and then maybe Khabib in there.
All right, deal. I like it. Frenchy, you got any shout outs you want to give or anything like that?
Just shout out to Vision. Shout out to my what's it called? My teammates for coming in there and training hard and pushing me, and I'm pushing them. Yeah, man, and shout out to the sponsor be helping me for the fights. Yeah.
There you go. Well, Frenchy, man, I seriously appreciate you taking the time today to be on with us, talk to us. I think you're the future. I think you're one of the next up guys in the pro division that's going to make a big leap here soon. So I can't wait to be able to watch that and be a part of it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, bro. Have a good one.
No problem.